Okay, good morning, everyone. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Roger is not on this morning. He's usually our eagle eye. Where are you, Roger?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, good. Good. You approve our minutes?
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
Yeah, I don't see anything for corrections, as I can tell.
Good. I didn't either, but you're better at that than I am. All right, I'm going to skip over the Bucks County Planning Commission because we're going to discuss that later when we go down with, when we talk to Judy about what's happening.
Lynn, we need to back up to the reorganization.
Okay. Oh, all right.
The
So,
chair and a vice chair nominations.
I move we continue with Lynn as the chairman, and I think Judy is the vice chairman.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I won't look. I'll turn my eyes. Is that okay? All right. Thank you, Judy. Is that fine with you? That's wonderful for me.
Good.
Good. Thank you, everyone. This job is always, I always here refer to Tom and say he's so wonderful on the committee that this job should certainly be his, but he keeps passing it off on to me, so I'm happy to accept.
Oh, and the same back to you. We're always glad you're chairing the meeting.
Thanks, Tom. All right, so I'm going to go back to number 3. I'm sorry, Judy, that I did bypass that, or Stephanie. I go back to, I'm going to skip the Bucks County Planning Commission, so we discuss that later as we tie it in with what's happening with Judy. Steve, are you on? You want to talk about what's happening with your great virtual room?
Hey, I'm on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can't see you, so the kids
We
must.
can hear you, we can't see you.
Okay, hold on one second. All right.
There you go.
How you guys doing?
Great.
Okay, so the 202 to 313 study is progressing nicely. I'm actually joining on my computer as well, which is why I was a little late here. So I can give you guys an updated view of how everything's looking. I will say that I'm kind of tied to this programmer's schedule, and he wasn't able to get all the final touches in place, but I do have a cool little movie that Lynn and I pulled together. So hold on a second here. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, look at this. Okay, sharing now.
Steve, you're on twice. That's why we're getting an echo. I think yeah, you logged in twice.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Okay, so here's I'm getting an echo now. All right, here's the updated view of the room. So what I've done pretty much is recently I've eliminated the splash screen, which was causing interference with mobile devices, which I think is important to have. So what I'm in the process of doing is adding all the welcome information to this welcome start here bubble. And what I can do today is just kind of spin around the room, give you guys an update, but with some caveats that things are still going to be progressed from here. So all the welcome information are going to be added to this registration form. Okay. As you spin to the right, here's this video presentation. I'll let this run.
That's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Pictures are awesome, but
Yeah.
we can't hear Lynn's sound.
And you're muted.
Yeah, I don't know. That's on Steve's part, I think.
Yeah, that's part of the inset recording.
Sorry, you guys can't hear it?
No, we can't hear Lynn's, yeah.
Interesting.
Pictures are awesome, though.
Yeah.
Hey, my husband that trick on how to mute me, will you please?
All right, I'm gonna have to do something else here. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
I'm guessing as a new Zoom user that, or newer, that it might have something to do with Zoom handling Steve's sound and the sound of the video at the same time.
Yeah.
It was that was really weird, actually. I'm logged in on my phone so I could speak to you guys, and I was logged in under my computer so I could show you the screen. At one point, the computer was muted and I was talking, but I was getting all that feedback. So how about this? Could we come back to me and I'll get my technical difficulties sorted out and I can show you guys the rest?
Sure.
That's
Sure.
what they do on CNN.
Sure, yeah, that's, you're very smooth about it. Yeah, I felt like, okay.
Yeah, we planned this.
That was good. So again, on the old new road, there's probably no update on that. We just keep putting it on there so that we remember that as a work in progress. And we just want to always keep that on the forefront, which is the same as we do with Turk Road, just knowing that it's out there. And if any grants or anything comes by, that we have not forgotten about those two areas that we want to work on coming up. So the Chamonix Greenway, Upper State Roads, that might be, unfortunately, that's Steve again. So he's probably.
Chris
You
can
know-
probably do that.
What's
Yeah,
that?
I can speak to that one, Lynn. This is
Oh,
Chris.
good. Great.
Yeah, we're 99.9% done. We had a final inspection. I think there probably might just be a few punch list things there. I know New Britain Township was, we have one utility pole that's on a private property, the Kiefer property that we're coordinating with to get that relocated. And there's a small little slope area that needs to be cleaned up. And then I think the township's been very gracious to help out one of the adjacent property owners at the Kiefers to do some minor improvements there to address some of their concerns with the trail. But other than that, I think we're basically done. I think there was some discussion about having a ribbon cutting in the springtime, if COVID situation allows. So that's where we stand on that project.
Would anybody be thinking of having even a virtual opening? I mean, just to, do something out there, kind of. I'm not sure, like somewhat like we did on Pools Corner, where we have an opportunity for people to take rides or take a walk from there, and just.
You can just do that so that it's on our website, a little trail view of where it goes. I was wondering, Chris, if there's any signage that's associated with that's going up.
Yeah, that was one of the things that New Britain's helping with. I think they're working on signage for on a progressive basis as they can, or as signs are available. Yeah, that was one of the things that we pulled out of the project since we had some cost overrun issues. But I think they're slowly getting the signs up. I noticed last time I went by there that some of the signs on Forest Drive were installed, and but there might be a handful that might be missing still. So if there's something you think that's missing, let me know and I can double check.
I think the driveway at where the Shell Brit parking, there was something about a driveway, clear sight, things like that. That's an important sign.
Right.
And also some fencing. There's a little bit of a drop off there.
Okay. I'll double check with New Britain and folks over there.
Chris, how were you able to eliminate the fencing on the Upper State Road Bridge? The railing, I'm sorry. on the bridge.
Yeah, we ran into a sight distance issue. When we did the design, we were going to cut back the railing on that because, yeah, well, the sight distance issue was at the driveway right near, Shalbrit, where the little trailhead parking area was. And just to be because of all the geometry and how it worked out, the railing on top of that barrier was actually blocking the sight distance for people turning out of that driveway.
Oh, okay.
So originally we were
Nicer
going to.
without it.
Yeah, I'm fine without it. I'm just wondering if that's something we could work out on other ones too, to save a ton of money. That's.
Yeah, technically, I mean, by PennDOT standards, we're supposed to have it. You're supposed to have, I believe the number is 52 inches high fencing on both sides of the path on a bridge. So that's why we had to have the railing.
Okay.
But the sight distance was causing, the railing was causing a sight distance issue. So we were able to, say, hey, what's the lesser of two evils? You're going to create this other problem or have this, belt and suspender safety concern, on the bridge. So we were able to negotiate, get it removed.
Yeah, I don't think there are any safety concerns for the trail itself there. I mean, it's not a high-speed road. It's great sight
Right.
distance and.
I mean, we still have the concrete barrier that separates. It's like 30 some inches high. And we have a little, we have a little shoulder of the road and so on. So I think it's still a safe condition.
What's the latest? Maybe this is a question for Cynthia about the connector through the property the township bought there. Is that
Long way off.
long way off? Okay.
Yep.
Well,
long way off.
Are you
I was
looking for a
thinking-
grant for that?
Yes, we will be looking for grants for that.
I'd suggest you look at the William Penn Foundation money on that because it's part of the circuit. I mean, it's clearly part of the Neshaminy Greenway. And that's our best source of money. It's the easiest one to use. They pretty much write you a check.
Well, Tom, we did get a little bit of money last year from DCNR for the Coleman property, if that's what we're talking about.
Right. But was that for just design or?
It was a combination of design and construction. I think we got around 200,000, so it's probably not enough.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good use of the William Penn money too.
We actually applied for the regional trails or the William Penn money the last round, which I think we're supposed to find out at some point this year on when that'll be, maybe even in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, there's an opportunity to get 100% funding there, I think.
You're talking about phase 8, Chris?
I mean, you have
The phase 8 regional trails?
Yeah.
Yeah, we I sit on that committee and we just reviewed all those applications last week. And it will probably be a March board action from DVRPC to announce those.
So did you give us a thumbs
No,
up?
Tom, I totally get the project a major thumbs down. I was like, no way.
We're not going to name that trail after you, Paul.
No, they, yeah, we sold it. We sold it hard.
Yeah, I know you did.
Just in terms of being, circuit, a missing gap in the Neshaminy Greenway, the missing piece of that one trail. Yeah, we sold it hard.
Great.
The only question that really came up was the kind of routing around the park, around the perimeter versus kind of, coming, in other words, they were just trying to see if there's a opportunity to quote, right size the project. So that may be something that comes back is that rather than going all the way around the perimeter, not that we're going to put it behind the homes on Willowwood, because they all understand that as a no-go. But it's, to see if there's a way to not have as much trail in order to right size it. But again, I don't know that will happen. It's just they were asking for opportunities to, see if various projects could be right sized. Because they had, there was $2.5 million in funding across the region and they had $7.5 million in ask.
Oh.
So a lot of projects were being,
Well,
yeah. So, but it, they got it. They know that the Neshaminy Greenway and the Newtown Rail Trail are the priorities for the county. And so that ties into the New Britain project, obviously. So I don't know, but my suspicion is that it will get funded.
Oh, great. That could move up the construction of it then, wouldn't it, Cynthia?
that could totally move up the construction quite a bit. So I see I've got Shell on the call as well.
Oh, yeah.
She's our Park and Rec secretary. for New Britain Township. I wanted to ask her about a couple of those issues that Chris had brought up. Shell, do you know anything about the signage and the utility pole? You are still muted.
I have to keep talking. Good morning, everybody. So I know that for the signage, there has been some signs ordered. I don't know as to what extent. They're probably still in the process.
Lost the voice.
Yeah.
As far as the utility, I'm not familiar with that as of yet. But also with the ribbon cutting, I know I spoke with Eileen and she did say, you know, trees are planted, there's paving that's done.
We're not getting any of that.
So you're cutting in and out.
Oh, I'm
Shell,
so
can you just
sorry.
speak a little louder?
Oh, sure. Did I lose you guys? I'll start
Yeah.
over. So as far as the signage, there is, you know, there are signs that have been ordered. There's some that are put up, but there's probably more on the way because there's still more work to be done. There have been trees planted. Paving has been started. There's still more to be done. And I think that's the reason why the ribbon cutting, we still have to schedule it. It's still TBD at the moment. So that's as far as I know, Cynthia.
Yep. And the utility pole, you were saying something about that, and I think that was a part that cut out.
Yes, that I'm not familiar with that, so I'll have to get back to you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Great. Okay. Anything else on that? Okay, great. I don't know if we have Steve back yet or not. I think not, right? We'll keep moving on.
Oh, wait a minute. I have to let him in. He's coming
Okay.
back.
He's on there twice again.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, maybe that's because he's using his computer and his phone.
Yeah, that's why. There you go.
Well, we started out with just trying to figure out how to do Zoom meetings. So we've come a long way. Now we're trying to do all kinds of stuff. So we're making
long way.
progress.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Hopefully this changed it. I shared my computer audio. We're gonna do this.
Oh, these are great.
There we go.
Hi, my name is Lynn Goldman, and I'm the chairman of the Doylestown Community Bike and Hike Committee. The Bike Hike Committee has been working since 1992 to bring bike hike trails to our community. Today, the township has 30 miles of trail, and the borough has a combination of trails and sharrows throughout the town sharing the road. We meet monthly at the township on the third Tuesday of each month at 8 a.m. We welcome you to participate. I'm glad you could join us today for this virtual meeting. Difficult times like the pandemic we're currently experiencing call for innovation and resiliency. I believe today's session provides an opportunity for both. The Township and Borough were fortunate to receive a grant from the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission to enable us to study bringing a trail from the backside of Central Park on New Britain Road to Pools Corner Park and Ride Lot. Today's 3D virtual setting will enable you to learn more about the project and to share your questions and concerns with us. The link to the virtual meeting will be available on both the Township and Borough's website for the next 2 weeks. Again, thank you for participating.
Okay, do you guys hear and see that?
Yes. Good.
All right, great. So I did notice a couple resolution photos, but in overall, I mean, that's going to be the gist of the video. Let's go back to the room here. So that's going to be kind of step 2, and they're going to see that great welcome that Lynn, pulled together. I also got some wonderful pictures from John Davis and Stephanie, and Liz as well. So after Lynn goes on, there's just going to be a little brief instruction, I guess, manual from my side, just kind of giving very brief, just ways to move around the room, what to look out for, things like that. We did add this small drag left, right to view on the ground here. So people should have the intuition to kind of spin around. very small updates on the project information and FAQs, but for those who haven't seen it, I'll just, I'll pull it up for a second. Showing a cross section of the road and very basic information, trail width, buffer, trail type. The FAQs, we weren't able to embed the links within the PDF here. So if you click on this, my original plan was to read through the FAQs and you'd have like, that looks clickable to me. So that's good. Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay, he must have figured that out. So in this FAQs, basically, there's all these clickable links here for all the resources that I've referenced in the document. The local context, we were able to add some destination call outs just to give people a better idea of kind of where they are on the bike and hike map. This is all stationary, but we have a Central Park call out now, a big study area, and a Pools Corner park and ride. The idea here was to give a local context of where we fall within the Doylestown community. As you spin across, the alternatives alignment is basically the beef of the, I guess, opportunity and constraints that we've pulled together for this project. On here, as you'll see it coming up, we have quite a bit of information, but all very relevant to the project. So we have alternatives, 1 towards the top here and 2 at the bottom. It's split between 2A and 2B, as well as alternative 1A and 1B. This connector piece on Easton Road will be used if we, let's just say, use 1 or 2A and then switch over to 1B. And what I've also done was added call outs for Pools Corner and Wawa. I've removed the study boundary, which was causing some issues. It looks like I missed a leader here. And I've added the existing trail sections in the area, as well as some sections of planned trail as well. And I think that kind of pulls together a nice complete picture here to show sort of how we're interacting with the existing and planned trails in the area.
That's nice. That's clear.
A good overview.
Yeah,
Thanks.
very clear.
The circuit trails map, we originally had it as a clickable, like a web map. And I guess one of the comments was that, you know, some people who click on that, it's such an overview that they might not know where they are and kind of how this project relates to it. So what I've done is I've taken a snippet of the circuit trail map. I've added a legend, and then through here, you should be able to, you know, kind of locate yourself. But also, I mean, again, the main point of this is how does it relate to, you know, places outside of our area? How does it relate to King of Prussia? It looks like this line here goes all the way down there. It looks like there's a dotted line all the way up to New Hope. So, you know, using this legend here and this, you know, study area call out, hopefully people get a good regional context of where we fall.
Good proximity.
Yeah.
The photo logs are being updated with call outs explaining where each picture is, but this basically just gives you a zoomed in version of each of the alternative alignments with a photo board next to it, just kind of showing you from a street level view, kind of Google Maps view of where you are. Some of the avid bike and hike riders in the area probably are familiar with a couple of these just from, you know, riding around. Hopefully they don't know, you know, 202, but this will give you kind of an on the ground look of where we are. And, you know, for some, I guess I got the feedback that some, it might not be that useful, and other people actually really enjoy these sheets. So we decided to keep them in. I also think it adds a little bit of aesthetics to the room with these boards here and fills it out nicely. And then lastly, I've updated the registration form. Sorry, not the registration form. We're not calling it that anymore. This thank you sort of exit form here. So the overall theme, as you guys can probably tell, is try to keep it short, digestible, We want people to come in and not want to leave and get all the information they can in the most, I guess, quick and efficient way. So at the end here, I kind of left it to 5 questions, which wasn't very intimidating. But I also left, an open-ended box at number 3 that if somebody wanted to write a story on what they want or don't want, they're able to provide that feedback. And Chris and myself can, and with the help of committee members, can take this information back and, apply it to the project. And that is the current state of the room. So the video presentation will be embedded right here. As you can see, there's a little X, so the programmer must have had a difficult time, but it's not going to bring you to another site. It's gonna basically pop up right here in the box for you, and that'll be Lynn's video. Does anybody have any questions or want to see more about the room right now?
When does this go live?
Good question. So I pulled together a flyer letting the neighborhood folks in this area know, and basically we just had to get to this point in order to roll out that flyer. We're going to give people about 2 weeks, I would say, just to sort of plan for it, and then we'll have the room up for, I'm guessing, around 2 weeks as well.
Is it going to be a township newsletter or anything like that?
Yeah, we'll do letters. The borough and the township have, we have a mailing list from Chris and Steve that they provided us. So people will have individual letters sent to them. So we do need time to get that together before it goes live.
But that
And-
goes out just to the residents that are adjacent to this?
Yes, the letter will go to the residents that are adjacent, but we'll also announce it. We can put it on Facebook, or we can do something like that. The key is, though, is to make sure that the people who live nearby have the opportunity to participate.
Right, but it's also nice to put an awareness out there.
Yeah, I mean, we can do something like with the press release or something like that as well.
Well,
Not
if it's
that-
coordinated with our next newsletter, that would be great.
Well, the newsletter's already at the printer, so it's a little late for that.
Okay.
And
Stephanie, could
besides,
you,
not everybody reads the newsletter. I mean, so what we hear. So
Could-
every household gets it, but whether or not they'll read it, I think the letters to the property owners is very important.
could you send the bike and hike people all a copy of the same letter that goes to the adjacent people?
Of
Some
course.
of us live close to it and some don't,
Mm-hmm.
so we can see what they're seeing.
Yeah, well, I will say that one comment from a local was, which was my grandson, that I looked like a robot. So I think let's see the letters instead of watching me on video. I might be better off.
Family's so cruel.
Hey, Lynn, what's the process if people have concerns or problems with this and the mechanism for them to follow up and to get back to them?
Well, I think that question number 3, Steve, am I right? Where they have an opportunity to write out what their feelings are?
Yeah, upon exiting the room, they'll have a chance to fill out this form, basically rating their experience, but also there's a blank box there that they're able to share any type of insight, concerns, questions, comments. We've also provided in the FAQ section links to the Doylestown Bike and Hike website, the borough website. I've listed, Stephanie and John Davis and myself as contacts. So if anybody would like to reach out or voice their concern, this is what it's all about. So we're definitely gonna have those avenues for them.
So then you're the group that's also going to get back to those folks with any concerns that they raise?
Yeah, I think that concerns will be taken back and digested as part of a whole. We might not be able to address every comment or concern that people have, but I think as, if you look at, 75 different feedback, we can the good thing about Microsoft Forms is you can put them all in an Excel spreadsheet, organize them in a very, objective way and say 80% of people don't want this, 20% of people do. Okay, let's reflect that. And then as a follow-up, I guess as the final deliverable, we will be organizing a final report pulling all this together. So if anything has changed, or if let's just say the public really preferred alternative 1 to alternative 2, we can make that known in our final report and our findings.
Yeah. How large is the group that's going out to?
My list was around 200 people. I'll have to double check that for you. I have it.
I think it's a little over two. It's around 200 or a little over.
That's what I thought too.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good amount of people. And then, I also, I think we plan on posting it on the Doylestown Township and Borough website. Is that right, Stephanie?
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody just generally interested in the bike and hike network that doesn't necessarily live in the area, will also have access to this. But we wanted, I guess, for those who don't come home from work and check up on the website, we wanted the exact, the people in the area that are going to be, directly affected, even though we're not planning on really being close to anybody's right away on this project, that they get the letter in the mail, they know exactly what's going on, so they're not surprised.
How are you directing that to the Doylestown Country Club? That's a big chunk in there.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been in contact with them before for the Turk Road, but very rarely. I think that's going to be a hurdle. I really do.
Yeah, but I think that we should have a conversation with Eric, and then he'll take it to his board to just see if one of us should go. And that I think it might be a little more difficult because there's that's their drive right there where errant balls go, or at least mine do. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully, we wouldn't have a problem there, but I do think that they, since it's such a big section of it, should get a little deferential treatment.
I agree with you. I'll reach out. Well, we can kind of strategize that.
I have talked to Eric about us coming, but it was never on this stretch. It was always on Pebble, the Pebble Hill Road section.
Yeah, we're coming after all sides of that property.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're in the road right away, PennDOT's road right away there, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Then it's just a courtesy.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, Roger.
Your question, would you like to be included in future projects? I wasn't sure what that meant, what kind of responses are you trying to elicit there?
Yeah. Good question. So I think that
You mean
question
future
kind of,
mailings or what?
maybe we reach out and see if they want to be part of the committee, or we just keep them in tune with future projects. Maybe we can add them to a master mailing list. I think that question kind of stemmed from not scaring anybody off from giving their information to us. We try to eliminate, registration forms. We're not going to pound you with information or text you in the middle of the night. But if they do want to get more involved, we wanted to know that. It might be a little broad that most people will be like, yeah, sure. And then I'm not sure if there's a concrete step in the future. So maybe we'll have to think that through.
Maybe if they check yes, they should have a line to say, to explain, or, tell us.
How would you like to be more involved?
Yeah, because different people are going to want different things probably. You wouldn't know how to target them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a general email or something that could go out that just says, okay, we've received feedback that you're interested in being more up to date with the bike and hike network. Here's ways to get involved. Here's ways to reach out, things like that after the study's done. We could also send them the reports or the findings. We can think that through. But I like that idea, Roger, for a kind of secondary, if yes, explain.
Okay.
And you did see Elizabeth Wyckoff's note. You see that, what she has a comment on?
Oh, yeah, let's see.
Okay. So.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, so thank you to Liz for doing that. I know Liz left, but I think that's a good point. Instead of 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, just have a brief descriptor of what's being alluded to there.
So people don't have to go back and check which one is which.
So a brief description of what alternative 1A, 1B is.
Yeah, like Southern Route
Got it.
or Northern Route, or like however, people could identify it.
Yeah, they don't get mixed up in giving their answers and think to talk about one and really visualizing the other.
Right, clarity.
Kind of a guidance, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll add descriptions for that.
Great.
And then, yeah, once the programmer is able to sort of fill out some of these kinks, it looks like he figured some out that I didn't think that he did, and also some that I thought were givens that he hasn't figured out yet. So once that's sort of finalized, the live link that you guys have all accessed before is still the same link. It's just a living link here. So you're not going to need a new one to click on. It's kind of, you're getting live updates as the information flows in. But once I guess that is completed, I can give everybody just a heads up to go in, take one final look, give me any comments, and then we can start the process of sending out these flyer letters to the public.
Great. Yeah, I think it looks great, Steve.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, I know you put a lot of work into it and it shows. So thank you.
Thanks, it's getting there.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Actually, it's close to, I plan on using it. So come on. Okay, well, I guess we always mention the Turk Road area trail feasibility study. We'll pass on that for the moment.
Oh, wait, Lynn,
Oh, yeah. Something happening
you
there?
know, well, I know we're on hold with it, but maybe this pertains to this, but things in general. In the Intel last Friday, did anybody catch the on the editorial page, the viewpoint about the big Land and Water Conservation Fund Act by Congress? And there's a lot of funding going on there. It was jointly written by the head of the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation, Cindy Adams Dunn, and Stephanie Wine from Penn Environment. And they talked about things about all the money that's being allocated to parks and trails and upgrading trails. So you might want to go back, because you can go online to the Intel, probably don't have it by now. It was a January 15th, the Friday edition. And on page 4A, celebrate historic win for the state's grand outdoors. And it talks about how this act by Congress is the Great American Outdoors Act, and it ensures permanent dedicated funding to the nation's most important conservation, land and water conservation fund. So I think could be a pertinent article for us.
Maybe
And it might help with projects that are on hold like this one.
Yeah, money associated with it.
Yeah, I don't know what all there is, but it's probably a beginning for those more experienced than I to get into something to find out what it's about.
Okay, good catch. Stephanie, are you aware of anything?
I haven't heard anything specific.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good. Thank you. Keep an eye out for that. Great American Outdoors. I like the title of it.
Yeah.
The key thing is that we don't have to fight for those funds every year. It was always it's kind of a scrap fest down in DC to make that happen. So it's a wonderful problem to not have.
Be great. It even mentions on there projects to close priority trail gaps. So
good.
Anyway, I think it could be pertinent.
Yeah. Sounds like money. Sounds like grants. So that's
exactly what it sounds like. And when it's talking about a permanent thing that's been voted in, it kind of leads you that it's every year people have to, as we just said, someone said they got to scramble for it every year. The whole thing about this, it ensures permanent dedicated funding.
Yes.
So it kind of came in under the radar, but
fantastic.
there it is.
Yeah.
Great, Roger.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone saw the Empire Trail that goes from Manhattan to, I believe, the border with Canada and New York was completed.
Yeah.
So 750 miles. I'm-
Oh, my.
It also heads out to Buffalo if I'm.
Oh, right, the Erie Trail, yeah, from Buffalo then comes in as well.
Andy
But
and Tom, I expect both of you to be planning on those
I was
trips.
just gonna say, Tom's probably ready to ride it if he hasn't already. Or Andy.
I've done most of it, and it's one of the most beautiful areas to bicycle in the United States, I think. It's just a lot of nice towns up through there, and
Tom, is that the one you take from Vermont to Canada? Is that the Empire Trail?
well, that's not a
Tom,
there's
from Burlington
no,
to
it's not. But
Okay.
that's
your own thing?
but it's less defined, but it's so easy once you're up in Burlington to get, it's a day's ride into Canada.
Right.
So, or less.
Okay, so we will move on because I know that Judy has a lot to talk about. And I think Shady Retreat, safe routes to school, update on that. Anything going on that we need to know about?
Where are we with the easement through Stone, whatever it is, property?
Stonington
Stephanie, I
Farm?
saw back and forth there.
Yeah, last month we were we had to pull together legal description for the permanent and temporary easements for Stonington Farm. It was something that their lawyers wanted, so we got that over to them. But I think maybe an email to follow up just to see the progress would be a good thing to do right now. But things are progressing on that.
And where are we with PennDOT on the intersection there?
Yeah, the state road.
Yeah.
We're good. They gave us a few comments on push buttons, signage, some striping, but we're pulling that together for a resubmission to the traffic unit that includes signals, maintenance protection of traffic, signing pavement marking. We have a few pedestrian accommodation comments that we received from PennDOT that wasn't anticipated. They weren't anticipated. So we're currently working through those comments, which kind of, touch on the rest of the plans. So we're organizing them all as one big submission.
So what's the projected date for letting the bid on that?
June 2021 is the current let date.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because we're saying we just went out to bid on a project in Hilltown and we got some great bids in right now. From Barwis got the bid. They're the ones that did the stretch through the Chalfont New Britain treatment plant. So I think bidding seems to be good for trails right now.
Good.
That's
So
great.
you're thinking June, did you say?
June 2021 is currently the let date in the PennDOT system, and we're doing everything we can to hit that. We do have a couple of reviews from the PennDOT side, which haven't been taking that quickly. So the quicker that we get things in, the quicker we'll get them back, and we can move forward with it. So it's been a push from our end.
Good. Yeah, that would be nice to see, something getting started for our year. Paul, are you still on? You still on?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Well, so now you had asked us to come up with someone, you may want to explain what your thoughts were on your, how you were including people to go over and review what you were doing on the planning commission with your trails. So
Yeah, as we talked about, I guess, last month, we ran into some opposition from the Pebble Hill Road neighbors group. And so based upon that, we had a lot of input from Chris. So thank you again, Chris. The idea of establishing a citizens advisory design committee and inviting representatives from the environmental aspect, excuse me. And
title, by the way, Citizens Advisory Design Committee.
and we basically extended invitations to representatives from Bucks County Conservation District, watershed stewards, and representatives from municipalities. And so far, we've heard back and received commitments from the Warwick Township folks. We had also invited Buckingham Township, even though they're not part of the immediate project area, but figuring that this might be a good precedent to establish going forward as we continue to try to expand the Neshaminy. And then we also obviously issued it to Doylestown. And we get everyone until January 29th, basically, to respond. And we anticipate having our first virtual committee meeting in February. So that's kind of where the background of the project is and how we got to the idea of the citizen involvement from, like I say, Park and Rec and or environmental, because really they're the focus of the environmental seems to be that's the primary concern of the neighborhood group, at least now. We addressed, their concerns about the trailhead off of Pebble Hill Road. So it really became more of a environmental focus. And so that's why we asked for representatives from the EAC and or other groups in the municipalities.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to handle it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like I say, Chris deserves a lot of credit on that.
Well, they had asked us, Paul had asked us to find someone on the committee to represent us. And since Judy had shown interest and done on her own, contacted a few of the people and went out and walked the area, I thought that she would be a great representative for us. So I hope you agree, but also if someone else wants to show interest and is something that appeals to them, they may want to talk to me about it. Give me, text me or give me a call and we can see if there's room for someone else as well.
So
Yeah,
Paul,
we appreciate anyone's involvement, and particularly Judy. I know you've gone out and met with the neighbors yourself, and we appreciate that. And again, anyone who's willing to serve, we can really use the assistance. So.
sorry.
Okay, would you take besides Judy, I know this kind of came up at the EAC when they selected their appointees due to scheduling and things like that, like an alternate person?
Yes, that's fine.
An alternate is okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just want to make sure that, the municipalities are involved, both from, like you say,
Understood.
environmental. So yeah, we're willing to accept alternates.
So Paul, did you get many people from like the master watersheds or these other?
Actually, yes. Well, the neighborhood group has Jim Walter, who's a master watershed steward and works extensively in the Neshaminy. We've also got Joyce Ely, who's the current president of the Neshaminy Creek Watershed Association. So she's going to be involved in the committee. We've got Megan Regalis from the Conservation District. And Megan has actually walked the corridor with the neighbors as well. So we're getting a lot of positive feedback from it and a lot of interest in participation. And like I say, and it's given the erosion issues and the that's really the concern is additional impervious surface in the area. What's it going to do to the to the creek? So sorry,
Have you had any of those people from I walked the trail with them, the trail that's not there yet, but I was asking them if any of them had walked existing trails or the existing, segments along the Neshaminy, and they hadn't. And I just wanted to invite them, I wanted to talk to the committee here, but invite them to come and walk some of those already finished segments to see how, we've dealt with erosion and, all that kind of stuff and how, because they're seeing just the photographs of the trails and they were referring to it as a super highway. Yeah. And I don't think they really, without walking it and understanding, that it's not hurting the environment, I think they need to see it firsthand. And I don't know if you've extended that invitation to them. If not, I think this committee may consider doing that because I think they needed a little wider perspective because they're seeing it just as a photograph of a 10-foot wide trail and, it's freaking them out.
They really don't know what they're talking about because they haven't looked.
Yeah. I would say give us until after our first committee meeting.
Okay.
Because right now we had initially talked about that, but given the pandemic, even though it's outside, we're not quite sure of people's receptivity to that. So, I mean, to your point, it may be having, 4 or 5 walks with only, 3 people at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to do it. But I think if you can just give us the time to meet as a committee, and then that could be an idea that you bring up at the first committee meeting. But yeah, so it's certainly something that, I'm willing to do, and I think, like you said, would be a very good idea. It's just that I think initially we were kind of concerned about their willingness to do that.
Well, my concern was that, some of the issues when I walked with them that they were bringing up was, big part of it was about erosion.
Yeah.
And we were looking at the existing conditions along the farm and the erosion of the banks and all that kind of stuff. And then, I walk the segment here almost every day. And, the erosion issues have been dealt with very well, I think, and improved by having the trail there. And, it seems to me that they need to kind of see that firsthand,
Yeah.
how it's been done and how the designs are implemented, because just looking at a photograph doesn't tell the whole story. And that was my concern. And I was just thinking of very specific things that they were pointing out as a problem. The designs have really dealt with very well, I thought. So,
I wouldn't take them on the stretch on the Neiman property until we get that erosion problem corrected. I mean, it's pretty
Right.
severe
yeah.
to the point where it's rerouting the stream through there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and I
that's
think, yeah.
that's.
I don't know
certainly
where
a
we are
concern.
with that, Stephanie. It'd be nice to get that fixed.
Yeah, we've been talking to the developer on that.
But we've been doing that for 5 years now.
I know, when we have a new engineer. So we have a new township engineer, so they're taking a
We
crack
have
at
the
it
same
again.
engineer we had with Boucher and James.
No, it's a totally different engineer. We're with Panoni now.
Oh, we are?
Yes, we are. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's news.
Yeah.
When
So
were you going to tell us that? That's,
when it came up.
oh, okay.
Because we
Well,
have Chris for trails.
who
So,
are we
and,
dealing with?
Chris could look at it too. I mean, Chris is our trail guru, so maybe Chris needs to work with.
Well, we know
our-
what the solution
you
is.
know.
We just need to do it.
Yeah. So we need to find the funding and work with them. So make sure that it's part of it. So
And the contractor's not going to do it. The developer's.
they've done some work with Paul's, everybody's been out there. I've been out there. Dave's been out there. They have a small pipe going into, a smaller pipe, and they have 2 pipes out there going under the area where it comes down. So, it's what's causing the runaround at the bridge area there as you come onto the trail. So, and it's in the floodplain. It is low and it's in the floodplain. So, but they know they need to address it. So,
And you're still holding money on them, and they're
Yes,
close to
yes.
dedication, right?
they're getting there and they still have work to do.
Okay.
So.
They got rid of the big pile.
It
I
will,
mean, it's to the point where that's unusable at times, and not just for a day or so. It's covered with inches of mud. Just not a good situation.
Well, there's
We
some
know.
good news that at Covered Bridge Park, that segment that was washing out has been fixed, and it
Right.
looks good. It looks
It's been fixed, Judy, and it looks great.
Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
really happy to see that. That was a big improvement.
No, our guys did that.
Today,
Well,
they
tell
did,
them
I,
it's-
I rode through there the other day too, and it looked great.
Yeah.
It's a good permanent fix, I think.
Mhm.
oh, permanent, always permanent. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Judy, that's great. Thank you for accepting that position. And I think we'll move on now to the mapping. Judy, do you want to talk about Mr. Spindler and what thoughts are? We had a meeting with Roger, and we had a side meeting of Roger and Larry, Judy and I, just to kind of tighten up what we were actually asking Mr. Spindler to do, because we agreed that it's, he seemed like the guy and had the experience, but our agreement was so broad, we felt like we needed a little separate meeting to tighten things up a bit, which we did. And then Judy was great enough to go back to Mr. Spindler and tighten things up. And I think we've got ourselves a winner. Judy, you want to explain?
Yeah, we have a proposal from Steve Spindler, and what we were asking him to do was to help us with our map, our town, our bike and hike map, and it's the the township map, but the areas around it as well that we're tying into. And we wanted something as far as like a web map that's more interactive, that we could people could click on things and get more information on trail segments, that we could add photographs to it, information about difficulty, paving materials, all that kind of stuff, description. And he's done, he's a guitar, he's exclusively works with bike and hike groups and does a lot of these kind of maps. And he had a lot of examples to show us. So long story comes short, we've got a proposal from him for $1,099 for the first year to set up the map and to work with our committee to get those photographs, the information that we want to have on it, as well as historical sites, things that will pop up about our Central Park, and we'll work with our Parks and Rec people about what activities go on there, scheduling, that kind of thing. And so there will be dialogue boxes and things like that that can pop up. So for that proposal, he's going to set up that map with us, and then we will feed him the information that we want to have included in it. And then there'll be some training so that we could maintain that map. He was saying that if he wants us to continue to maintain it and work on it, he would charge us $750 a year. But he would also, recommend that we be able to do that in-house. So that's what we're doing. And then we can, at any point, figure out if we want to print part of that, a version of it or whatever. But right now we're really concentrating on a scalable web map that's really easy to use and that ties in with the circuit and the other maps, because he works on all of that. So it would be in the same language. So rather than a static map, it would be something that easily is adaptable and descriptive. So that's our plan, and hopefully we can accept this. I guess we need a motion to do that.
Well, I've got a couple questions.
Sure.
I mean, it'd be nice. There's not a lot of detail in this proposal. It's kind of sketchy, and it'd be nice to, and I think it's to his benefit too, to really specify the area that we're talking about. It's not specified in here anywhere.
Oh, we gave him the area as what we're using as our township map.
It ought to be attached to it then.
Okay.
And referenced, and then I don't see anything in here, because I don't like subscriptions. I tend to avoid them in business, and it's hard to anymore. Everybody's making their money through these subscriptions. And
well, he doesn't want to.
But the point is, I don't see anything in here saying he's going to do any training.
Okay.
And I think that's an important part, and that's where we fall short on a lot of these things, where we end up with a map and nobody knows what to do with it at the end. So I think that's an extremely important part. And his price is great. I mean, that's that's not a problem, I don't think, but I just think we ought to make sure that
I'll get him to spell that out. I was trying to get I mean, we did have a lot of conversations about the reference area and the training. So
I wish I could write our proposals this way, where features you can expect. I mean, I mean, and that's fine. I'm like,
I do like mobile responsive zoomable map. That's exciting.
Yeah, no, I think that's what we want. I think we're going to get what we want here. I just writing proposals.
Right, you sound like a lawyer. Get it in writing. Yeah.
Any other comments? Because I can go back to him and get this spelled out before.
No, I think we ought to move forward with it.
Yeah, he does note like he gets busier in the spring, so it'd be nice to get him started.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be nice to have it ready to go for the spring too.
Yeah.
Well, he'd like to be able to get started right away. So
His 2-week turnaround time is unusual.
Impressive. So Lynn, this
Yes.
is Marilyn here. Like shelf hunt, just put together a trails map. Are we going to be able to include that with this, or how do we participate with this?
Right. What we asked is that we were not just limiting ourselves. We were making it a map where we were opening it up to absorb the communities that we're working with, like how to get to Peace Valley.
Okay.
Judy, I see your mouth open.
No, my puppy's getting
Go
around.
ahead.
I'm trying to keep him calm. What we asked him to do was that all of these surrounding areas would be links that we could connect to right off of our map, so that it would go directly to your information as well.
Hopefully, if we learn how to do this well, he would map out, for a small sum too, he'd map out your area that's also, the same as we're doing for Doylestown Township and Borough. And then we can train you as well to help, doing your own or help out with it. I mean, I think if we get this down right, we're planning on, Larry, don't tell Larry and Roger, but, they're going to be some of our main guys helping us figure out how to put picnic table or bathroom or, bike shop, that we'll be able to do those things ourselves.
I like the idea that he wanted to show points of interest and how to get to them, how to zoom in on it.
Yeah.
I'm here and I want to get to point A or a bathroom or a restaurant or something.
Yeah, being able to do it on a mobile is critical, I think.
Yeah.
So we're going to plug away at this, Marilyn, and then hopefully have it all tightly ready to go and just say here, we're ready to go. Let's add your area and, just keep going as if it's ours. Like, we're all one here. So.
And he was showing me the software for this, and it's very easy to use and update, add information to. It's very user friendly. So, I think that the training, what he told me, and I'll make sure it's spelled out in here. He does basically a little Zoom video of how to work it, so that if other people are coming in to try to update it for the first time, they can do that just by going to his video presentation.
I had a couple questions. One is he mentions that it will be hosted at a site, bikemap.com. Usually with the domain, there's sorry, Tom, subscription, that you have to pay on it's usually annual or maybe every few years, to maintain a site. And I didn't know if there was a plan for us to do that, or if that's included in his cost, or if that's going to be part of the township website. Has that been discussed in detail?
Nobody's talked to me about it.
You may want to ask that too, Judy, then.
Yeah, that would be an important thing to clarify, I think.
Yeah.
And is that a separate subscription than the $750 that he wants annually? And what's included in the $750?
Yeah. Okay.
Spell that out.
My understanding was, Judy, we didn't have to go to the subscription, right? Yeah, I mean, this could be a once and done deal.
I think I mean, my understanding was that was free, but I will get that clarified.
Maybe if we wanted him to do more, that's where the $750 came in, that we would have him doing more for us, but we could just, again, Tom's right, again, we should write this down.
Yeah.
But I felt strongly that it was a once and done deal. And then if we found that it was getting too much and we didn't have the people to do it, we could pay him and he would do it for us.
Right.
That was my impression, that we could do it in-house if we wanted to. Or as
He
long
would
as we were
rather
capable.
us do it ourselves.
We're not the big ticket he's looking for. He's going after a bigger fish than Doylestown Township and Borough. So.
The other thing I wanted to bring up was, I think we had in the past proposed that the map issue be a regular agenda item. And I was wanting to bring our attention to that. Is there a way to get that as a standing item so that we have it on there?
We can add it.
Do it, and it's going to be a fair amount of activity over time.
It's easy to add, Larry.
Okay.
One that should be looked at, always agree. Good. That's where I think we fell short before. Things happened so quickly and we would lose track of it. Good. Great. Did I miss anything? I kind of jumped around a bit. Pump tracks planning on being opened in the spring, so that's good. And can you believe we're actually talking about the spring? I just said Merry Christmas to you all. So talking about the spring seems a bit premature, but
The days are getting longer.
yes, true.
Hey, Lane, this is Chris. I just wanted to bring up 2 grant opportunities that are out there. The first is the annual DCNR program, the Parks and Rec program, comes from the state. That's due in April.
Okay.
And then the second one is DCED, Department of Commerce and Economic Development. That one's due May 31st. So I think that's our Greenways and Trails program grant. So there's a couple out there that we could think about for any of these upcoming projects.
Larry and I are going to jump in and Roger are going to say Turk Road. Anything for Turk Road?
And the challenge with Turk Road is we have to have control of right of way. So we'd have to have a piece that we have 100% control of the right of way, or we have easements in place.
Well, we have
That's
that,
our challenge.
we have that Cherry Lane easement along Pebble Hill Road.
So what are we doing, or what can we do about that right away?
Well, I think we need to dig in and start meeting with the individuals where we need it. And just see, it takes, even when you have people agreeing, it takes forever to get right of ways without legal action. So
we better get started if it takes forever, huh?
Yeah, that's how we do things. And I'm willing to help Stephanie or Chris, whoever, to meet with them and work out the details. There's always give and take on that stuff to make it happen.
Well, that's PennDOT though, Chris, right? If you're talking coming from the roadway, coming from the Pebblewoods Drive side to the crossing PennDOT, you're in the PennDOT road right away until you get to our easement that takes you up to Cherry Lane.
Yeah, I think, well, the last one that you and I and Steve and Dave talked about was East Road.
Yeah.
Coming across the bridge, trying to get down to Springs Drive. I think that was one section we thought might be the first one. Extending.
Yeah, those
from
are
it-
easement, then we need easements on those. Yeah, there's a few
Yeah.
properties there where we don't have enough right away.
Yeah, and actually Roger has already made contact with a lot of those people, right, Roger?
Yeah, back months ago, people were hot for it then.
Yeah. Oh, it's only gotten better, I think, people are using it more than I've ever seen, so.
Oh, yeah.
And
Definitely
then going
uses
into
it
the
up.
borough, do we need one from Ralph Fay? At least a construction easement or something there too, the architect?
Depends if we're on his side or on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ralph Fay on, where's his property?
On Pebble Hill Road.
Pebble Hill, yeah.
Oh, okay, I know,
Yeah.
the columns.
Yeah, it's the older house that sits back off the road
Yeah.
with the pillars.
He's opposed to the project.
Yeah, he's the one with the columns and wanted to shift it on the,
Mhm.
the house
Yeah.
with the big columns, the
Yeah.
Cooper estate.
Mhm.
Okay, and didn't we think about moving it to the other side of the road? I thought
Yeah.
that ended up.
No.
different.
We're talking about that.
Yeah.
I think we've got to make up our minds on that and then, or just go out and start talking to individual property owners to see how we can make a decision on that one.
I think it would be easier crossing the road though, because the other property has a garage right there too that's close. I don't know. I think, Steve, actually, I think you studied that a bit and came up with something that you felt was the best route for
Yeah,
us.
yeah. The last time that we spoke about this, I believe we were on the north side of the road, away from that person's garage who stood up at the meeting and made it clear that he didn't want it out front of his house. And then, I think our original reason why we weren't on the north side of the road anyway was because of that dam property. But we're thinking we could use the aerial easement.
The dam issue is resolved?
No.
Resolved.
I don't know. We were staying away from it and now we're on that side.
No, I think he had a crossover after the dam, didn't you, Steve?
So I think our current I think the current plan or the alternative, like the preferred alternative would be to cross at Cherry Lane or actually Pebble, what was it? Pebble Valley Drive. Let me
Yeah.
share my screen.
We dropped it. We dropped it down, and I think the chief of police liked that better too.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. I think the current plan, if everybody can see this, was to cross here at Pebble Valley Drive,
Right.
come up the road, and then continue all the way along the north side of the road here.
I
All
thought
the
we
way up.
crossed over before the dam.
That's all on the side of the dam.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, I think we have some issues on this side of the road. There's the guy with the garage, which is here, close to Christopher Lane. So I mean, in order to avoid that, we'd have to like cross and then get over this side and then cross again. And I don't think that
It's
we
too many crossings.
I don't think
PennDOT
that we
won't let.
like that. Yeah, I mean,
You just have to jump the
jump the
dam.
dam.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really just the spillway there.
Yep.
on
Yeah,
the
but
dam,
the spillways, apparently the owners there, they have a crack in it.
Well, they fixed that.
Did they fix it?
I think so.
There's something new happened there.
Yeah,
It's different.
that's the newer,
Yep, there's.
that's the
yeah.
fix. Unless there's something wrong with the fix, but.
Yeah, but as long as you're not touching the, I mean, we want to jump that whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Very tight bridge. We definitely need to get it on the outside.
yeah, you want to be like way over here and you want to be in the brush over there and land on the brush on the other side.
Yes. And then the road gets wide again. So, okay. Well, what should we do to pursue that? So, Tom, you're going to thank you very much for jumping in on that as well.
Well, it's, you know, I think we got to start meeting with the people one-on-one, however we do that these days.
Okay.
Okay,
Great. Stephanie, what do you suggest? A letter going out or?
I mean, we can do a letter or, you know, if I know who we're gonna, I mean, where are we gonna start? Are we starting on East? I mean, do you want to share East Road, Steve, real fast?
Sure.
Are we doing the section on East Road? Are we doing the section on Pebble Hill? Are we just doing the crossing getting up to Cherry?
Chris,
I mean,
what's the grant for? Which one do you think we'd have a good shot at it?
Well, I think we need to be kind of strategic. The DCNR ones are, you know, Parks and Recreation, that's where they're coming from. So the ones that connect to more rec facilities, like we were thinking East Road might speak to that because of
Penny Chapman.
Chapman Park, right? Chapman
The
Park.
pump track.
Pump track.
Yeah,
So that we could sell that as, you know, getting all the people on the east side of the bypass over to the park with the
Yeah.
trail network. So we
Okay.
were thinking just, you know, get across the bridge and build a trail down to Springs Drive would be a good first step if we can, or at least get to that first side road. Might be a good, you know, good first step.
Great.
And that grant's not very big either. I think it's the max is $250,000. So with a 50-50 match, so we'd have to come up with $250,000 of cash or in-kind services. So I just kind of wanted to throw those grant opportunities out there. I think we need to think about them more and look into the details more before we decide what we're going to do. So I think maybe we need a separate call or meeting or something with folks to figure that out. So maybe Tom and I and Stephanie and Dave and Steve D could put our heads together and come up with a couple suggestions for the group.
Right.
we've always talked about this, breaking this into pieces and taking them one at a time
Yeah, that's what we have
for
to do.
those opportunities that are out there for grants.
And as part of that discussion, Tom, I know you and I have talked off and on about the Alms House Road from, you know, Turk Park down to Needham. Is that something that we need grant funding for feasibility? Because I'm aware of these grant programs. I'm gonna be talking to Evan and Rich about them, and I'm just trying to come up with potential projects for the county. And I just didn't know if that's something that is in need of grant funding or not for that feasibility. And everyone, for those familiar, the county's building the one out Alms House Road all the way to Turk Park, the intersection of Turk and Alms House. And then, the goal is to get us down to connect across the creek at the Neoman tract. So I just didn't know where we were with that project, Tom.
Well, I think we know what we need to do there. What I think we ought to do at the same time is meet with, there's probably 2 property owners we need to meet with, other than the Heritage Conservancy, which has a piece down there.
Yeah.
And meet with them first before we go into a feasibility study and see what
Okay.
kind of reaction we get.
All right. Thank you for bringing that up, Steve.
There aren't too many choices.
Yeah. No, I
There.
just wanted to know if we needed funding for it or not at this point.
My suggestion is we hold off on that until, let's do the hard work first. Let's meet with the property owners.
Okay, that's fine.
And not go through a big feasibility study and end up the same place we are today, not knowing if we can put it in because of the property owners.
Okay.
And I've been looking at it for the last couple of years. I've got it in my mind how we can do it rationally, but it's going to take some easements.
Yep. Without a doubt. So,
Okay.
Thank you. And while we're speaking about that, just if I can have 2 seconds.
Sure.
We relative to the Dark Hollow Park Trail, that's the Pub Hill Road. We actually had a meeting last Friday afternoon with Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority. And we had met with them in person back in spring of 2019, and we thought everything was a go, and they're still receptive to it. But now one stipulation is that our initial thing that we discussed with them was kind of the access drive along the sewer treatment road, there behind the Coles. We were hoping to, just have that be, quote, the trail route. That's a non-starter for them. So now they are wanting us to see about coming up with a opportunity to put in a trail along the side of that access road. So Chris is going to be working on exploring those ideas. So I just wanted to let the committee know that we're now on this side of the creek running into some challenges as well, but we're working through it. So.
Hurry, nothing's easy. It just gets harder.
Yep.
Okay, and then also, Chris, you and with that same group, Chris, you can check on the DCED grant that whatever piece we have on Turk that looks like it could work with that one.
Yes, we'll look at them both.
Great. Okay, thank you. Well, as always, just my bit of news that I want to add that Katja McGurk is taking over the
tile works.
The tile works. And Stephanie, I actually want to introduce you to and have you connect if you're available. I'll send some times to see if you and Katja can Zoom. So that's a nice opportunity for us to lead people there. She would enjoy bikers coming in and doing a tour of the tile works. And so that's all good news. And I expect great things starting to happen at the tile works because it's been, it's time. Let's just say that it's time.
Mercer tiles are about to get funky.
Yeah.
That's great.
And glittery, I think.
Yeah, so we're taking advantage of a great resource. Katja knows her stuff and she's on all these committees and the state.
That'll make it interesting. I'm happy that they have that.
Yep.
We'll have a lot of classes there. I bet.
So Stephanie,
Lynn,
say it again.
Lynn, I have a question about the tile works. Are they going to be able to make different ones? Civic Association had approached them a number of years ago to make a tile for park, and they said they only made designs that Henry Mercer had created or whatever.
It will be a whole new world.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're going to enjoy the old as well as the new to keep everything relevant. And her ideas there are truly, it's going to become, if all goes well, and I believe in the powers of Katja, it's going to be a fun place to go. So, okay, anything else with anybody? Any news to share? All right, thank you as always, everyone.
Thank you.
And thank you for the cognac.
Yeah, well,
It was
yeah,
great by the fireplace.
yes.
And you're not going to share it with us.
Okay.
I-